Welcome again to the old principle. 我就是老校长. And we have another interesting story. I told this story recently to a friend and he laughed a lot. And I think you'll find it interesting. But before we begin, the title is The Quack Up. Okay. Now, I should explain this later, but to crack up means to laugh a lot. 笑得半死, okay? But in this case, the quack up, you've got to listen to the story. This is number 234, and we're going to listen to the story right now. See if you can get it, but we will come back in just a minute, and we will explain it sentence by sentence.
Story 234, The Quack Up. My son Lincoln and I were speeding along a twisting country road toward home one night when my headlights revealed, too late, a wild duck in the middle of the road. We heard the sickening thud of the duck hitting the underside of the car. I turned the car around and went back. The duck was sprawled among 10,000 feathers. I picked it up and laid it on the floor behind my seat. Lincoln was very quiet as we drove on. "Dad," he said, "do ducks go to heaven when they die?" "Oh, son, they don't go anywhere." "Dad," he said again, "what happens to a duck when it dies?" "Ha! We eat it." "Dad," he quietly asked again, "I mean, where does it go?" "It doesn't go anywhere. It just isn't anymore." "Oh." He thought for a few minutes and then he said, "Dad, is it okay to pray for a duck?" I guess so." He lapsed into thoughtful silence. A few minutes later he spoke again. "Dad, God just answered my prayer. The duck's alive." "Oh, God doesn't do things like that. The duck is dead." "Dad, the duck is alive. I just saw it move." "No, son. The duck must have moved from the motion of the car, but that duck is not alive." But Dad, the duck is looking right at me." "Son, this has gone far enough. The duck is dead." "Yes, sir." "Quack." What was that noise? I think it was the dead duck, Dad." I turned around. There was the duck, standing up, looking rather puzzled by its new surroundings. "Son," I said, "the age of miracles just started again because that duck was dead." I learned a lesson from the duck that day. I'm not always right, and being older doesn't necessarily mean being wiser. I learned the grace of laughing at myself. It really isn't so bad to admit that you're wrong. Well, once in a while.
Welcome back. The story begins, my son Lincoln. So this is, of course, American president by the name of Abraham Lincoln. But some people use Lincoln as a first 签名, okay? My son Lincoln and I were speeding along a twisting country road toward home one night. Okay, so take a look at this. We were speeding along. We were driving fast, speeding. 当然 speeding 是速度, but when you say I'm speeding, that means I'm driving fast along a twisting country road. 乡下的路. So it's a small road, right? And 弯来弯去, twisting, or 弯来弯去. Okay, and where are we going? We're going toward home. One night, when my headlights revealed too late, okay, my headlights, 我的前灯, okay, this is the headlights, revealed 照出来 too late 太迟 What did they see going on? A wild duck in the middle of the road. So apparently this wild duck was traveling across the road, and it was in the middle of the road. And so we heard the sickening thud of the duck hitting the underside of the car. Okay, first of all, I want to point out sickening. The word sick, okay, 生病, okay, or 疾病, sickness. Okay, but if it's sickening, the meaning of sickening is something that makes you feel sick. Okay, 感到很痛苦或不舒服. Okay, so a sickening feeling, that means 一个感觉是使你非常不舒服啊. Okay, a sickening feeling. In this case, it is a sickening what? Thud. Thud is the sound of, something hitting something else. It's not 不是很响啊，响的声音呢, but there's a little sound of something hitting. So the sickening thud of what? Of the duck hitting the underside of the car. So the duck is hitting, 它现在是碰到 the underside of the car. The underside, that means below the car, under the car. Going on. I stopped, of course. I had to stop. I turned the car around and I went back. Okay, the duck was sprawled. That's a nice way of saying he was laying, 躺在那个地方, sprawled. Sprawled usually gives the idea of 痛苦的躺在那个地方, or suddenness, 突然间 sprawled. It gives that meaning. So anyway, he's laying there among 10,000 feathers. Okay, 鸭毛中呢, it says 1,000 个. There's probably not 1,000, but we say 10,000, meanings everywhere there was what? Feathers, duck feathers at that. Okay, I picked it up. What? I picked up the duck. Okay, I picked up the duck and laid it on the floor behind my seat. Lincoln was very quiet as we drove along. So what's happening? I picked up the duck, put it behind my seat. Of course, you have the driver's seat, and behind the driver's seat, there's usually another seat. So we put the dead duck there behind the seat, and just put the duck there, and we drove home. It says Lincoln was very quiet. Of course, a little boy Little children, they have never seen death before. 没有看到死亡. So he is very, very quiet and thinking about that. The poor duck, thinking about the poor duck. And so Lincoln was very quiet as we drove on. 我们继续开回家. He was very quiet. He was thinking. Not much to say. Going on, he said, Dad, he said, do ducks go to heaven when they die? Now, I tell you, children ask the most interesting questions. And usually, when children ask these kinds of questions, it's like, oh, how am I supposed to answer that one? Okay. So Lincoln asked, after thinking for a while, Dad, do ducks go to heaven? And the father replies, Son, they don't go anywhere. They don't go to heaven. They don't go down. They don't go anywhere. Probably more silence. And then the little boy says, again, okay, what happens to a duck when he dies? Okay, so what happens to a duck when he dies? 这个鸭子死了，怎么了？ What happens? And the father, matter-of-factly, 好像这个是这个当然的事情啊 matter-of-factly 当然的事情 He says, we eat it, of course. When the duck dies, we eat it. 我们就吃它. Going on. Dad, he said quietly, or he asked quietly, again. Now, children are working their way through this. You know, children need time to think these things through. If there's anything that I've learned as a teacher, it's sometimes we need to be patient with children as they 思考, as they think these things through and ponder them and think. Okay, so Lincoln is talking to his dad, and he says, Dad, he quietly asks again, I mean, where does the duck go? Where does the duck go? You know, he asks, does it go to heaven? What happens when he dies? Now he's asking again, almost the same kind of question. I mean, 我的意思是，他去哪里? Where does he go? Okay. This is the father replying, it doesn't go anywhere. It just isn't anymore. It doesn't go anywhere. It just isn't anymore. 不存在啊，它不去任何一个地方，不存在，就 finished, done. Okay, going on. Oh, he thought for a few minutes. Then he said, Dad, is it okay to pray for a duck? Again, the surprise factor is here. I mean, the father is saying, 爸，我能不能够为这个鸭子祷告? So what is the father supposed to do? I guess so. Yeah, 可以. In this case, I guess so does it simply means that 我想可以吧。I guess so. 我想可以吧。So going on. He lapsed into thoughtful silence. What does it mean to lapse? 这个进入 to lapse into 进入thoughtful silence. 这个 he's quiet, he's not speaking, 很安静的，但是 you know, especially children, you know when they become silent, their little brains are going around and around and around. Okay? And then it says, a few minutes later, he spoke again. 再过几分钟，他又说, Dad, God just answered my prayer. The duck's alive. Dad, God answered my prayer. 他答应我的要求。The duck is alive. Going on. God, this is the Father. God doesn't do things like that. The duck is dead. God doesn't do. 上帝不会做这些事情。The duck is dead. Going on. Dad, the duck is alive. I just saw it move. 爸，这个鸭子是活生生的，我刚刚看它动了。Going on. No, son, the duck may have moved from the motion of the car, but that duck is not alive. 儿子，不会吧？这个鸭子或许动的，所以因为这个车子在动啊。Okay, the car is moving, so the duck moves. Okay, but the duck is not alive. 它不是活的了，它已经死了，这不是活的了。Going on. Dad, the duck is looking right at me. The duck is looking right at me. And you can imagine the frustration building in the father's mind. And he's saying, wow, I don't know what to think. Okay, and so the father replies, going on, Son, this has gone far enough. 这个已经太过分了，儿子，这个已经太过分 ，gone far enough， 是过分的了。The duck is dead. I tell you, the duck is dead. Going on. Quack. Yes, sir. Quack. That's the sound of a duck. And the father says, what was that? What was that? Going on. I think it was the dead duck, Dad. I think it was the dead duck, Dad. Going on. I turned around, and there was the duck standing up and looking rather puzzled by its new surroundings. I turned around. That means I turned my head around. Had to be careful because you're driving a car. And there was the duck. And the duck was standing up. 它就站起来, okay? Looking rather puzzled by its new surroundings. Okay, looking rather puzzled. 它看起来很茫然的看它新的环境. Okay, to be puzzled about something is to be quizzical or to be thinking or to wondering why. So even ducks wonder why things are happening. So maybe his head is still kind of going around as a 头晕, and his head is going around in circles. And so he's looking around at his new surroundings, 他新的环境, and he's puzzled. But he's standing there, okay, by his new surroundings. 你的 surrounding is 你的环境, okay, 四周围的环境, okay, going on. Son, I said, the age of miracles just started again because that duck was dead, okay. Okay, son, the age of miracles has just begun. 奇迹的时代开始. 奇迹 miracles 的时代 okay 刚开始 just 开始 again 重新开始 okay because that duck was dead 因为 the duck 那只鸭子野鸭 was dead. Going on. I learned a lesson from the duck. I learned a lesson from the duck. 我从那个鸭子学了也不少. I learned a lesson from the duck. You learn lots of lessons. In fact, there once was a university professor who said, let life be your teacher. So the father said, I learned a lesson from the duck that day. Okay? I'm not always right. 我不总是是对的. 我不总是是对的. And being older, because obviously you're a father, so being older does not necessarily mean being wiser. 不见得, 他的意思是不见得是你更加聪明啊. And being older, 你年纪大的. 不见得, not necessarily, 不见得, not necessarily. Very good word, not necessarily. 不见得. 意思是你要更加聪明. So older 不等于不一定是等于 wiser. I learned the grace, okay, of laughing at myself. Okay, the grace, okay. In this case, grace, I wonder how I translated that, because grace usually is 恩惠 or 恩典. But maybe in this case, grace has more of the meaning of virtue. 这个道德, okay? Okay, so I learned the grace of, or 美德, maybe grace is 美德. I learned the 美德 of laughing at myself. Okay? It really isn't so bad to admit that you're wrong once in a while. It really isn't so bad to admit, 承认你完全错. Obviously, the duck didn't die, so to admit that you're wrong once in a while. 这说偶然. Hey, none of us like to admit that we're wrong. And so this guy said, well, he's laughing at himself, but he's laughing at himself and he says, it's okay. In fact, I think it is okay to laugh at yourself and to admit that sometimes you are wrong. Nobody is perfect, and that includes the 老校长. Okay, well, we've come to the end of our lesson. You could write an email to us. We do have an email address, theoldprinciple@gmail.com. Okay, so you can write an email. Tell us about your learning experience. We all have these experiences where we learn something and sometimes even have to admit, 承认, that we were wrong. And then 我们的网站是 www.theoldprinciple.org. Hey, I've enjoyed sharing this story with you, and I hope that you will invite somebody to join you the next time you come to watch the Old Principle program. Until then, bye-bye.